I found out that my fiancée was cheating on me right before our wedding. Now she's really sorry and wants me to forgive her. At the party, I noticed my fiancée looking in my direction, probably because she saw me checking her out. After a lot of thinking, I decided to talk to her. I've always been a bit heavier, which runs in my family and started when I was a kid. In the past, girls have rejected me or made fun of me when I tried talking to them, so I didn't expect much with Maya. She was really beautiful, and I thought she might ignore me or act like I wasn't there, but she surprised me. She was kind, and we had a great conversation all night. It was the first time in a while that I felt good about myself. Since we got along so well, we exchanged numbers, and I called her as soon as I got home. After that, we started going out together, having lunch dates, and our friendship grew stronger. As time went by, I realized that Maya was different from other girls her age. She was kind, clever, and smart. From our first conversation, I knew I liked Maya not just because she was pretty. What really drew me to her was her intelligence and sense of humor. Not many girls had given me a chance to go on multiple dates with them, but Maya was open to it. I've always been attracted to smart people. I didn't enjoy being around people who lacked ambition or goals, and Maya was full of drive. She had just finished college and was actively looking for job opportunities, going to interviews, and working hard towards her future. I admired how focused she was on her career. I hadn't been in a serious relationship since high school, not because I couldn't handle one, but because the girls I dated wanted something more than what I could offer at the time. So when I met and started dating Maya, it felt like a big success for me. It had been 3 months since she graduated, and she was struggling to find a job. She had moved out of the college dorm and was living with a friend, but things were tough for her. Her parents couldn't support her financially after graduation and made it clear that she needed to take care of herself. The friend she was staying with wasn't the most organized, often had her boyfriend over, and their one-bedroom flat was getting crowded. Maya was feeling the strain of living there, so I suggested she take a break and move in with me for a while. Even though I was just beginning my career in the tech industry, my salary was good enough to support both of us comfortably. We lived in a spacious one-bedroom apartment, and I took care of all the expenses like rent, bills, and groceries on my own. I didn't mind because I loved Maya and thought it was normal to spend extra on someone you care about. Looking back, I realize it might have been naive of me. Our relationship went smoothly without any major arguments. Maya handled household chores like cleaning, laundry, and shopping, and she was also great in bed, which I appreciated. Before we started dating, Maya told me about her bad experience with her ex-boyfriend in college. I assured her that I would treat her well, and I kept that promise. I've never had issues with anger or violence, and I've never cheated on anyone in the past. I was committed to being faithful to Maya. My job allowed me to work remotely 60% of the time, which meant I could spend a lot of time with Maya at home. I made sure to keep our communication open and transparent by sharing details about where we were going, who we were with, and what we were doing whenever we went out. This was my way of showing Maya that I was serious about our relationship and had nothing to hide. As we got more serious, we introduced each other to our families and friends. Maya's best friend was Andrea, who used to hang out with her all the time and visited our place regularly. Andrea worked as a retail store manager and lived with her sisters. Maya had a job offer from the same store but turned it down because she wanted a job in a corporate setting. Andrea would playfully tease Maya about being spoiled, but Maya felt she deserved to be taken care of since she had worked hard in the past with multiple part-time jobs during her teenage years in college. I was happy to support Maya and take care of her. Giving her a break and providing for her felt good to me. When she brought up the idea of marriage during our celebration dinner for my promotion, I was a bit surprised, but also had been thinking about it myself. I told her we would get married when the time was right, and she was happy with that answer. Honestly, I wanted Maya to focus on her career before we took the next step in our relationship. I've always dreamed of getting married and starting a family, and Maya being in my life made me envision that future even more. I had already bought an engagement ring but was waiting for the right moment when her career was more settled. Maya stumbled upon the engagement ring I had bought, and to avoid any misunderstandings, I decided to propose earlier than planned. When Maya shared the news with her best friend Andrea, Andrea seemed more shocked than happy. It wasn't the kind of shock you'd expect from a friend hearing about an engagement, but more like surprise that Maya was getting engaged to me specifically. I had hoped for more excitement, especially since Andrea would be Maya's maid of honor, but it wasn't there. Andrea's response was more like, "Are you serious?" She even dropped her purse and held up Maya's ring, forcing a smile when she looked at me. I knew Andrea well enough to sense when her smiles were genuine or not. Even though I didn't mention it to Maya, I got the feeling that Andrea wasn't truly happy for her friend. Andrea had always been overly friendly to me in the past. Once, when we were hanging out at our apartment and Maya went to the kitchen, Andrea hinted that Maya might not be who I thought she was. I understood what she meant but pretended not to, asking her to clarify. Andrea didn't give a direct answer, probably because she was drunk, so I couldn't draw any conclusions from that conversation. Soon we began planning our wedding. Maya wanted a lavish wedding with lots of guests, including friends, family, and even people she wasn't fond of. However, that wasn't what I wanted. It was beyond my budget, especially since Maya wasn't contributing financially. Plus, I believed in life after the wedding. I wanted us to start a family soon, which meant we needed a bigger place and other preparations. Even though Maya had her reasons for wanting a grand wedding, I disagreed with her. She mentioned having the perfect expensive wedding, but we both knew it wasn't feasible. Maya surprised us by getting a job a few months before our wedding. I had told her I couldn't afford certain expensive items for the wedding, like her preferred gown and the bridesmaids' dresses. So she decided to find a job and handle her own expenses, which I thought was a smart move. I hoped she would continue to focus on her career even after we got married. However, I expected her to contribute to our wedding expenses with her new job, but she didn't. Instead, she used her earnings for her gown, accessories, and her bridesmaids' needs. This meant I ended up covering most of the wedding costs myself. About 2 weeks before the wedding, Andrea started texting me more frequently. She'd message me in the morning asking about my sleep, and she'd text while she was shopping or doing other things. It seemed like she had many reasons to text me. However, when we met in person or she came over to help Maya with wedding preparations, she acted normal to avoid any suspicion from Maya. I had to ask Andrea to stop calling and texting me so much because it was getting out of control. I was worried it could cause problems in my relationship with Maya. However, I didn't want to bring it up with Maya because I didn't want to damage their friendship or disrupt our wedding preparations. I knew how much Maya trusted Andrea, and I suspected Andrea might be trying to come between us or change my mind about marrying Maya. During Maya's bachelorette party, I started to understand why Andrea was acting strangely. I was at the hotel's club area with some friends when Andrea called me, saying she had something important to show me. At first, I hesitated because I thought she might have ulterior motives, but when she mentioned Maya and a familiar name, I decided to go upstairs with one of my friends to see what she wanted to show me. I arrived at the hotel room where Maya's bachelorette party was taking place. Andrea was waiting outside and told me something shocking. When I opened the door, I couldn't believe my eyes. Before I even entered, I heard soft sounds coming from inside the room, and my heart sank. As I touched the door handle, I saw Maya with another man, who I suspected was the male stripper they had hired for entertainment. When Maya saw me, she quickly got off him and tried to cover herself with the sheets. I instantly recognized him as Andrea's college ex-boyfriend, as she had mentioned earlier. I was so overwhelmed that I started crying without even realizing it. It was too much to handle, so I left the room without saying anything. My friend who had come with me tried to comfort me, but I was too upset to listen and just walked away. As I walked away, I heard Maya shouting at Andrea, accusing her of ruining her perfect life. Andrea fired back, saying that she had warned Maya that I deserved better, and that Maya should have been with her ex-boyfriend Rick instead of me. Maya wanted to have both me and Rick, but Andrea believed she couldn't have it both ways. I didn't turn back to confront them. The betrayal was too much to bear, and I couldn't accept that Maya had been deceiving me all along. The pain was overwhelming, and I wished I could numb it somehow. Andrea tried to talk to me, but I shut her out and drowned my sorrows in alcohol until everything became a blur. The next morning, I woke up to a barrage of missed calls from Maya and others. When I stepped out of the room, Maya was already in her wedding gown, looking miserable. She rushed to me, asking why I wasn't ready for our wedding, which enraged me. I pushed her away in anger and called off the wedding. Everyone was shocked, wondering why I had suddenly changed my mind. Even my parents were surprised because they had invested a lot in the wedding preparations. But I couldn't find the words to explain my heartbreak. I glared at Maya, feeling a surge of anger. I retreated to my room, locking the door behind me. From inside, I could hear my parents and friends asking Maya what had happened, but she didn't respond. Instead, she pretended to faint, and some people caught her before she fell to the floor. After the chaotic events of the previous night, I gathered my things from the hotel room and left. Feeling overwhelmed, I turned off my phone after leaving an apology message on my friend's group chat. I needed some space to process everything that had happened. It's been a week since then, and I'm still struggling to accept that I was deceived. Update 1. Thank you all for your support and comments. Some of you asked why I didn't do a background check on Maya before dating her. Honestly, I didn't think it was necessary at the time. However, I did ask my friend's sister about Maya during the early stages of dating. She mentioned they weren't close after college, so I didn't get much insight from that conversation. It's been quite a roller coaster. Maya confronted me recently, furious that I didn't show up for our wedding. The irony is, she overlooked her own actions and painted me as the bad guy. She even told her parents that I canceled the wedding because I was drunk the night before and not thinking straight. It's frustrating how she's ignoring her own mistakes and blaming me instead. I'm not foolish, I just don't want to deal with her anymore. To add to the mess, Maya confessed that she was still seeing her ex-boyfriend while we were together. This shattered me. I'd always worked hard to provide for us and meet her needs. I never neglected her or denied her attention. It's confusing and painful to realize she was deceiving me all along. It's painful to think about Maya being with her boyfriend while we were together. Now she's asking to set a new wedding date to avoid embarrassment, but I can't bring myself to marry her. She only apologized once, showing she never truly cared for me like I did for her. It feels like I was the only one invested in the relationship. I've made it clear to Maya that I won't marry her. I've also kicked her out of my house and changed the locks. After meeting with Maya, I spoke with Andrea and thanked her for helping me avoid a bad situation. Andrea revealed that Maya had been taking money from me to support her boyfriend, and whenever she asked for money for something, it went to him. I also didn't mention that Maya went to the gym every evening while we were together. Maya's obsession with fitness seemed normal at first, but I later discovered she was meeting her college boyfriend every day. She often claimed to be with Andrea, but she was lying. Andrea was shocked when Maya showed her the engagement ring because just days before, Maya had told Andrea she wanted to be with her college boyfriend. Now I understand why Andrea was persistent in contacting me. She wanted to warn me about Maya's actions, but I didn't listen. I blame myself for being naive. I've decided not to marry Maya and will meet her soon to return her belongings. I'll provide another update soon. Update 2. Hi everyone, sorry for the late update. I met Maya again 3 weeks ago, and something surprising happened. When I told her we couldn't be together or get married, she insulted me. She said no woman would want an overweight man like me and that I should feel lucky to have someone like her. It was the first time I had been insulted like that, especially by someone I cared about. It hurt a lot. I realized she wasn't the person I thought she was. She had been using me all along. I know I'm overweight, but I didn't want a marriage where my partner felt like they were doing me a favor. I've seen how those kinds of marriages often end badly. We didn't talk much after that day. Maya got angry and threw my engagement ring at me before storming out. I blocked her on social media and her phone number, but before I blocked her parents' number too, I visited them to explain how dishonest their daughter had been. They were disappointed when they learned the truth. About a week later, I kept getting calls from an unknown number. When I answered, I realized it was Maya. She sounded different, more calm and respectful. She asked if we could meet because she had something important to tell me. I preferred to hear it over the phone, but before she could speak, she started apologizing. She wanted us to forget the past and start fresh. Maya told me she was pregnant, which I found really strange. I laughed because I thought she was joking, but she insisted it was true. I ended the call and blocked her number because she wouldn't stop calling. It turns out her boyfriend left her when he found out she was pregnant and couldn't support him anymore. She tried to involve me by claiming the baby was mine, but I didn't believe her. She's been trying to reach me using different numbers, and just recently, she showed up at my house uninvited. Maya showed up at my house uninvited and attacked Andrea with hurtful words, accusing us of having an affair and ruining her life. I had to involve the police and file a restraining order against her. I feel sorry for Maya's situation, being unemployed and facing the challenge of raising a baby alone. As for Andrea and me, there's nothing romantic between us, and I don't see that changing. She checks on me from time to time, which I appreciate. Right now, I'm focused on healing from this heartbreak. While I can't forgive Maya yet, I believe she's facing the consequences of her actions. I'm still recovering from the breakup and looking for advice. Now on to another story. I, 25M, was going to propose to my girlfriend, 26F. However, she confessed after a night out that she cheated on me and is asking for forgiveness. We've been friends since childhood, and she's been there for me through tough times like when my parents were abusive, and I lost my grandparents. She's caring, selfless, and my hero. A month ago, I talked to her parents about wanting to marry her. We planned to rent our favorite amusement park where I propose, the same place where I first told her I loved her. The amusement park is still rented for August 29th, but things took a turn yesterday. My girlfriend went to a karaoke event with her friends and came back drunk in the early morning hours. Today she woke up crying and apologized. She confessed that she had sex with another man at the party and regretted it deeply. When I asked why she did it, she said she was too drunk to remember she was in a relationship with me. This made me wonder if she would cheat even if we were together. I also asked if she was unhappy with our intimacy, but she reassured me that everything was fine and she regretted what happened. I was overwhelmed with sadness and had many more questions, but I couldn't stop crying. She hugged me tightly, pleading not to break up over her mistake. I told her I needed time alone to think. I've been sitting here for hours, heartbroken and unsure of what to do. She promised to do anything to regain my trust, but I'm struggling with the idea of constantly monitoring her actions to prevent cheating. It feels controlling and wrong. Is there a way to rebuild trust without breaking up? I can't imagine loving anyone else like her, considering we've known each other since childhood. We grew up together, shared everything, and she's become a significant part of my life. It's hard to let go and pretend everything will be okay. I'm sharing this because I know many people advise to just move on, but that's not something I can do easily. I'm looking for advice on how we can stay together and set rules to prevent this from happening again. Should I also tell our parents about what happened? I'll need to cancel the amusement park event, so I might have to explain why. I don't want her parents to be upset with her, considering how much she's helped me. She's been like a hero to me, and I don't want her to get hurt because I know how painful that can be. Update 1. The title of this post pretty much sums up what happened. Here's what went down. The day after I made the original post, I decided to ask my girlfriend for more details about what went on. I was ready for any response except the one she gave me. Here are the important bits. Before the karaoke night, a friend's boyfriend, whom I know but am not close to, joined in last minute. Let's call him Richard. During the karaoke, my girlfriend's female friends kept pushing her to drink beer quickly. She asked them to stop after 3 drinks, but they kept insisting, saying things like, "You don't drink much anyway, so just enjoy yourself for once and don't spoil the fun." So she kept drinking. Normally my girlfriend only has a couple of beers at most. She says she remembers drinking 10 beers in about an hour that night. She thinks she might have had more after that, but she doesn't remember anything else until she woke up at home. She thinks the drinks made her blackout drunk. In my original post, I didn't say much about when she got back from karaoke because of the word limit and thinking it wasn't that important. But when she got back, her friends were practically carrying her, and I had to help get her to bed. She could barely walk, couldn't stand straight, and couldn't talk properly. I'd never seen someone blackout drunk before, but I'm pretty sure that's what was going on. So yeah, I think she got blackout drunk. When she woke up, she had 10 missed calls from her friends. When she called back, they explained what happened while she was blackout drunk at karaoke. Richard said that he needed to talk to her, my GF, for a moment to strategize on how they'd sing as partners. The friends decided to continue the karaoke while Richard and my GF strategized. After half an hour, neither Richard nor my GF were back, so they started checking for where they were. Richard wasn't picking any calls. After an unknown amount of time, Richard's GF saw Richard having sex with my GF. Of course, Richard and his GF broke up, and then all of the females brought my GF home after finding out about this. My GF was mad and shouted, "How dare he rape me?" I was in the basement before I saw my GF cry, which is why I didn't hear this, but her friend said he's saying she consented. My GF says that she was speechless and hung up because she couldn't believe she consented to that, and started crying because she believed that she cheated on me by consenting and thought our relationship was over. She didn't know that legally if a person is drunk, consent or not, you cannot have sex with them. I was surprised she thought this because even if you don't know the laws on this, how could it possibly be morally or even solely logically speaking fine to ask for someone's consent when they're barely able to communicate or think? I was really shocked by this story and started feeling really bad for my GF. I explained to her that this is rape, not consensual sex. I hugged her and tried to comfort her and asked if she needed anything and how she was feeling. She said that because she doesn't even remember anything after the drinks, she doesn't feel any of the responses normally felt after rape, like trauma. She said that she's mainly disgusted by Richard but also mad at herself for losing control so easily because of a dare and hurting me like this. We went to the police station to report this. The investigation is still ongoing. Also, to be honest, I was still a little suspicious that the story could have been made up or misconstrued. So I went to the karaoke place that they went to and explained the situation and asked if I could see the camera's footage. They agreed, and there was footage of the exact situation that I was told playing out. There was also footage of Richard asking my GF for sex, and my GF responding in a very drunk and barely audible voice, "I like that bastard." Richard really thought that was consent. I have, of course, also provided this footage to the police. Although the police's investigation has not concluded, the evidence I saw is, in my opinion, enough for me to believe her. My girlfriend volunteered to explain the situation to both of our parents because she wants to take accountability for her actions. Her parents were very apologetic and sweet about the situation, which I appreciated a lot. My parents brought us both together to make sure that all of us were on the same page, and we had a big group hug, and my dad said something that really resonated with me. This situation is really shitty for everyone, but I know that love will prevail in the end. Unfortunately, it was too late to cancel the theme park we rented for the proposal, so we decided to go ahead with it, but without the proposal part. We invited more people to join us. I told both our parents that I would choose the right time to tell her that we had initially planned to propose there. About a week ago, when things had calmed down, I finally told her. She seemed to have mixed feelings as expected, but she said she was devastated yet understanding. Following the advice from many people on Reddit, we decided to try couples therapy. It's been really helpful in helping us understand each other better and grow closer. She even suggested that she never wants to drink alcohol again. She realized it didn't taste good to her and didn't make her happy in the long run. She used to drink just to fit in, but now she's committed to stopping, and she's doing great so far. We've realized that we both enjoy doing things like karaoke together, but sometimes we worry about bothering the other person. Even on the day she went with her friends, she wanted to go with me but thought I looked busy, so she went alone. But I wasn't busy at all. We've been working on communicating better and expressing our feelings more, and it's made a big difference. I also told her about my Reddit post. I want to thank everyone for all the advice, even if some of it was a bit tough to hear. We're both really happy right now, and despite this bump in the road, I believe we'll keep moving forward together.